Hello, welcome back to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And we were away for a little break, but we are back for a 7-week semester of semester number 6. We've been continuing our kettlebell practice over this entire year, building our skills. And tonight we'll get back into week 1 of 7 with the basics. We'll ease back in with the get-ups, some hinges, and into our 2-handed swings. Before we get to that kettlebell, let's get started with a body weight warm-up and see where it takes us.
The body weight will start with the head, neck, and then in through that rib cage. Stand in a position comfortable for you, maybe hands to the sides or gently clasped behind the back. And at the chin, meaning the head, neck, do a subtle chin tuck looking down. From that position, gently look up. Not too much beyond the horizon, and then reset with the head eyes on the level horizon there. Next, we could do a lateral bend at the neck and ear to the shoulder movement, and then return through to tall. And then the same thing the other way. Relax into these poses and gently return to the middle. Rotation puts all that together where we could look over the shoulder one way, returning through center, and then back towards the other side, and then center. If we put those all together, let's draw a figure 8 shape, starting with the head, neck, with a chin tuck, looking down. Then we'll look across the clavicle towards the shoulder. Then up the wall towards ceiling. In the middle, pull the crown of the head high as you return to the flexion or the down pattern at the neck. And then returning the other way. Rotation. Look up towards the top of the ceiling and then return the head on nice and straight. Now let's reverse that circle, going into our extension first. Lightly pull down on the front of the neck to assist with the extension or the up phase. Then look towards the side wall. Then down the wall, chin scrapes along that clavicle to the center, and then return, pulling up. Then our rotation to the wall, looking down, and then back to the middle, casually returning head on level. Now let's just repeat that figure 8 shape through the rib cage, and I do like to open my stance when we do that, inviting you to do the same. Lightly retract the shoulder blades. Initiate with a light chin tuck, and then a flexion or a rounding shape through the rib cage spine. Ensure those shoulder blades are together. From here, it'll be a rotation, a side bend, and an up and over action just to halfway in the middle, and let's return right back down the middle in a flexion pattern. Then a rotation, the other direction, a side bend to the back corner, this up and over action to center, and return the rib cage connected to the hips, testing the shield. Now, keep the chin gently tucked, but extend as to grow up even taller through that T-spine. And then it's a rotation, a side bend, and we'll go in a circular pattern here from the back to the front and pull down on that shield of abs as we extend through the upper back. And one last rotation, one last side bend, and a circular shape back to the front. Pull down on those abs and lift up nice and tall. Shake that out. Be able to go everywhere, but find that nice strong center position, alluding to those tight abs. I'm sure Lauren will have some planks to share once we get to the floor.
All right, we'll get to the floor and quickly warm up those wrists, but let's get there by warming up those ankles. So sending the knees towards over the toes. Now hanging out here, we have a light anterior of the tip or cow hips, reaching the tailbone to the wall behind you. Slowly stay the same height, but peel the heels up off the floor. Find that bent knee balance. Let's keep the heels up as we stretch the knees, extending the hips. We'll stay on those tiptoes as we come back down, and we'll sink lower and lower and lower, and then ultimately those knees will land softly on the floor. The hips will extend, the toes will tuck back, and we'll sit down for a second here. Next, let's extend the hips through and find our hands on the floor. So a hip hinge, we land through the fingers and then into the palm of the hand. Once we're there, we'll elevate our shoulders, shrugging like I don't know, and then pull them down like you do know, locking in those lats. Returning to our gaze to our elbows, can we rotate our elbows pits backwards? And then can we rotate them forward, locking and screwing them into our wrists? Next, let's lightly drift forward, shoulders towards over fingertips, using those fingers then to press us back. We'll be loading up those wrists today through our get-up pattern, So let's practice that one more time, drifting forward, distributing your weight not just down through the wrist, but through all of your fingers, as well as the palm and the callus line. We'll push the floor forward, sending ourselves back up, giving that a little shake up. Taking a second off our wrists, let's warm up those lunge hips. So with one leg in front in that vertical shin, we'll pay attention here by keeping our shoulders level, but hiking a hip and then pulling down. Repeat again, hike a hip and pull down. Now take the pelvis, not the back, but tip the tailbone to the back wall and then lightly tuck under the pelvis. Let's repeat that again. Pelvis tips in that anterior position or tailbone to the wall behind you and then scoops under. Now with that scooped under hip on the back side and that lightly tipped forward hip on the other side, we feel that tension with that push-pull. Let's pull ourselves forward, drifting knee towards over toe, and then press ourselves back up to tall, tall. We'll take that leg out to the side as we will in our get up. Take that same off arm across our chest, rotate our head and shoulders towards that side leg, and then we'll hinge on the hip and that hand will find the floor, fingers facing towards the side wall. Next, head with shoulders will rotate closed towards the floor. Knee stays to the side. Head, shoulders rotate open. Push the floor away, extending the hips. Heel toe the leg to the front. And let's warm up our hover. Push forward back, hover that back knee off the floor. Feel the tension, continue the push-pull that way. Now change it and pull together the floor underneath you like you're trying to ripple the floor. Then push it away and then pull it together to descend back down. We'll land and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Vertical shin, shoulders stationary, hip hike up, pull down. Again, hip hike up, pull down. Anterior tip the hips, then scoop them under, trying not to move your spine, but your pelvis only one more time. Tip the hips, scoop, tuck. Back hip stays tucked, front hip, leg pulling in. We'll drift ourselves forward, but keep that hip extension out the back, and then push forward to come back to tall, tall, tall. Heel toe the leg open to the side. That arm that can touch it crosses the body. Head and shoulders will rotate. Hinge on the hips, fingertips face backwards, and stack that shoulder. Then head and shoulders will rotate towards the floor. Breathe, keep the knee to the side, and then rotate the body open. From here, pushing the floor away, extending the hips. Body rotates to center. Heel toe the leg to the front. And here we go, warming up the hover. Push forward and back, hover the knee off the floor. Stay here, but now pull the floor together. And then push it apart. And one more time, pull it together to descend back down. We'll bring that leg underneath us. We'll just come to standing one more time. Or should we stay on the floor?
I think we should stay on the floor.
All right.
But are you familiar with that get up? We sure are, but we haven't done it in a little bit. So we'll be talking through it, and take your time. Either watch these sets of repetitions, we'll break it down in just a second, or grab a bell, get a grip, and let's get going on the get up.
Or do a body weight.
Ooh, that's a good idea too.
We'll come down and always starting in our cuddle position. So whether it's with a kettlebell or without, cuddle. And then two hands, either press your bell or press your imaginary bell to set up. That off arm up is out to the side, and we'll use that hip drive to pull, coming to our elbow. As we're here, that bottom and shoulder is packed. We'll push the floor away, squishing the bug. Next, we'll lift the hips and sweep the leg under. Push the floor away, extending the hips. Oh, warm up position. Front foot moves to our lunge. Press through to tall. That leg you can touch will drop back. Control the down. Step the leg open. Rotate, hinge, hand finds the floor. Sweep the leg through. Find the elbow. Push away from the elbow to the back. And return the bell or the imaginary bell to the floor.
First get up in a bit. Feels good, but check in and we'll go through some breakdowns of this movement in the successive sets to follow. So as Lauren said, it starts with the cuddle, the roll, and a two-handed press. Set up and drive through that bent leg to the elbow, and then into that tall sits position. Look at the kettlebell as you bridge and sweep, and then press the floor away, looking straight on the horizon. Square up your lunge, stand nice and tall, And then let's pull ourselves down as Lauren prepared us in the lunges. And then open, look at the kettlebell as we hinge, sweep the leg to the tall sit, find the elbow, and then push off the elbow to the back. 2 hands, pull down to the floor. And some things don't change. And here we'll ask that you stand without using those hands.
Stand, no hands.
No hands.
Because it rhymes.
That's right. As we get into the get up, breaking it down, we'll also be breaking down the kettlebell swing, starting with the deadlift. Let's go I go, you go. Lauren will do a set of 5 reps, and I'll follow quickly thereafter. Stand over top of your load, and whether it's a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or that pretend load, chip chop on those hips and reach your butt back. Grip the bell, pack the shoulders, and lift and return to the ground. Push your feet out the whole time on the up and the down phase. Is the load on your armpits? Are the shoulder blades retracted? There's a lot of cues to go. Maybe one more repetition for about 5, and then put it down. And if you did that, maybe listen to Lauren's cues as I follow suit.
So standing right over top of that bell, I like to say the handle is in line with the arches of your feet or almost your shins. Use your hinge. Hips will stay medium high. They won't stay as high as they will for a straight leg deadlift, but they won't drop low like a squat. That Goldilocks position in between where you can feel those hamstrings lengthen out. We have that nice flat back, but it's because our core is engaged and we're loading up our abs and our lats to pick up that bell. The hips drive through, we pick it up with these, and then we stand up without and shake it out.
Awesome.
We'll come back to the floor. We'll be breaking down that get up as mentioned, this time 3 times to the elbow. So come on down.
Come on down.
Down, no hands. Not as nice as stand, no hands. But we'll go from the cuddle to the roll and to the press. And again, whether this is body weight or with your bell, we're using our hip drive. We're going to think about keeping that long leg heavy, pulling to the elbow, pausing, locking in the lats, pushing away from the elbow to your back. Repeat. This is not a crunch. It's a hip drive and a pull, and then return to your back. And one last time. Hold for an extra second, push away from the elbow, control the down. 2 hands, bell comes down, returns to the floor. Let's go. Spins yourself around.
Other side. So grab that bell with a firmly placed hand on the bell and a packed shoulder and roll to the back into that firing range position. You could also stay here to spend some time under tension familiarizing with this position. But for those who are ready to go, let's push through the hip and pull on that arm. Then push heavy through the bent arm and that straight leg to return to the floor. 2 more. Drive a hip. Pull onto that elbow. Core brace. Straight line down to the floor. Final repetition. Drive the hip. Take your time. Breathe through it, but brace those core muscles. 2 hands on the bell. Return it to the floor. And maybe a different way to stand up with no hands, or any way that works for you. Go back to that deadlift hinge if that was speaking to you very nicely tonight. But if you're interested to progress, this would be that first drill we would share to get into the swing, being the hike pass. Big difference here, Lauren standing behind the kettlebell. We'll pull that kettlebell to the zipper, towards those hips, and then return it back to the floor. The height of Lauren is staying the same. It's those armpit lat muscles pulling that kettlebell back as to load up the hips like a slingshot. I go, or in that case, Lauren goes, and now we go together.
So stepping behind the bell, always tipping that bell on its belly, locking in the lats, pulling to the zipper, parking kettlebell. It should be nice and soft. If it's clunky, it means you're shifting your weight back and forward, back and forward. Your weight's staying the same here. You're loading that hinge position. You're loading up abs. Last one, stand up, shake it out. We'll get back to the floor. This time, making our way to the hand sweep.
That's right, the hand sweep.
The hand sweep.
We'll
So
hit
come
that.
on down.
Lauren knows. I'll be quiet. I'll follow along, just like you.
Come to that cuddle position, roll, and then press to your back. So on this one here, we'll make our way past the elbow. So we'll get to the elbow first. Then we'll squish a bug, fingers will face backwards. We'll be lifting the hip and sweeping the long way, leg underneath. Pause for a second. Shoulders are stacked, we're looking up at our bell. Sweep back through to your bottom, pause, hold. Lift, sweep again. Knee is right under hip, tripod-like position. Sweep back to your bottom. One more time. Bridge sweep, hold. This time we'll sweep. We'll come to the elbow and we'll press away as we did the last drill to your back, pulling the bell down, returning it to the floor.
Whew. Now leave that kettlebell right there and swivel on your bum, and let's do the same thing now on the other side. To the tall sit and 3 consecutive sweeps. Pack the shoulder, cuddle, roll, and press. I'm driving that hip to get to the elbow and squishing a bug with my fingers facing back. Now push up through the hip, sweep that leg and pause, and then return back on your buns to that tall sits position. Push the hand and the foot on the floor as we sweep the leg, looking at the kettlebell, and then back to our tall sit. The third time's a charm for us, so here we go into that windmill position, and then back into the tall sit. Find the elbow and heavy tension in the floor to return. 2 hands down, and I'm gonna try to kip up here. Whew. Not quite a kip, but close enough for now. You have the deadlift to choose from. Go back to that. Or you have that hike pass. Choose that. Or expand that one more repetition and get into our stop swing. One stop swing is a hike out front, back to the hips and back to the floor. The stop-start nature of this makes this very challenging on our system to get up to full speed and back down, but it also allows us to refine the park position, the hike position, the float position, and in reverse order, all the way back down.
So stepping behind your bell, gripping, tipping bell onto its belly, hike pass first, hips drive through, bell comes back to zipper and back down. We're trying to the goal here is that our hips are swinging the bell, not our arms. So keeping that bell tight to the body and it slings off your body because you drive it through with these hips. One last time here. Pull, swing, through, park. I think we have time for one more round of stops.
I'm in. Let's do it. Take the breath in between and shake it out. But with Lauren here, time your breath. That is an inhale on the hike and that exhale when you're pushing those hips through. And be ready for that Polish punch or that high tension abs throughout this entire exercise. 5 reps should be enough to reinforce your form and get the heart rate going a little bit at the same time.
All right, so on this one, I want you to imagine that I come through the computer screen and I punch you in the stomach and the butt at the top of your swing. Here we go, inhale, tight. I'm for real punching him. It's approved. Good, 3-ish, 2-ish more times, punch in the stomach. At the top of your swing, it's your core that stops you, not that low back. So no lean back here in those swings.
Lean back.
All right, we did a bottom portion of get up. Now we're going to do our lunge portion. We're going to show 2 versions of this. One of us will be holding the bell in the rack position. 2, the other person will press it overhead, and we'll be performing our drop back lunges. I'll do the rack position.
I'll do the overhead position.
So whether you're pressing or racking, you're going to stand over top of the bell with your handle parallel with your feet. You'll use your hinge, you'll grip 1, you'll cuddle 2, you'll zip up your jacket and put that bell in the rack position. Hallmarks here, that vertical forearm, nice straight wrist. If you're pressing, you're getting that bell to overhead. The free arm is going to touch the leg. That leg is going to drop back. Keep the elbow in tight if you're in that rack position. Pause on the floor. Up together. Let's do 2 more. Vertical forearm, whether the bell is overhead or in the rack position. In the rack, elbows in tight. In the overhead, bicep close to ear. Pull the bell down. 2 hands on. Place it down. Stand up without. Shake it out.
Shake it out.
Repeat on the other side.
And Lauren did such a great job describing that. Maybe she can even do it for this set too.
Okay, hip hinge. Grip 1, cuddle 2, zip up jacket, punch through. I'm like Dr. Seuss here.
I like it.
Vertical forearm, nice straight wrist, elbow in tight. Leg you can touch and drop back. Up, 1. Feel that tension we worked on in the warm-up. You pull the floor together, push the floor forward and back to stand up. 1 last time. Lunges are a 2-legged activity. You're not single leg squatting. Pull the bell down, return it to the floor. Whew.
Awesome. We have so many exercises to choose from. Deadlifts, stay there or progress towards that hike pass, then the stop swing, and now consecutive kettlebell swings. Approach that number 5 and make sure every rep feels stronger than the one before it, and it looks the same, if not even better. So Lauren's on number 3. The feet are pushing out. We can hear that breath. We can sense that strength. Something through that computer screen. Oozing, streaming through that computer screen. Here we go.
Streaming stress.
Yeah.
Hip hinge, grip bell, tip it, pull, swing, swing, swing and swing. It's those hips that drive you up. It's the abs that stop you at the top. It's the butts that get tight, and that strong exhale will keep that all together.
And you can always check those bar and bells basics video series for refinements for the deadlift and now that kettlebell swing. Where 5 comes around quick. That rest comes around even quicker, it feels sometimes. So let's do it again.
Pack the shoulders right away. Brace the abs at the top. I'm punching and punching and tight at the top. Good. One last time. Park that kettlebell.
Awesome.
So we've broken down our get up in a couple different ways. Let's put it all together here one more time for one full get up each side. We're going to return to the floor, start from the bottom, get to the top, come back down, once on each side. Try not to use those hands to get down there. Set yourself up into your cuddle position. Okay, we'll start on that first side.
Let's do it.
With a cuddle, a roll, and a press. To the elbow, up, to the hand, squish, to the bridge and the sweep. Press the floor away. Rotate yourself forward. Both legs help you up. Return back down via the lunge, the step, the rotation hinge. Sweep, elbow, press away from your elbow to your back. Pull the bell down, return it to the cuddle.
And
Bye. Thank you.
woo, check that live stream feed.
That was like Mission Impossible rolling right there. Same thing, second set.
Like it was impossible to roll, or
Well,
like
I don't know. It was a little more floppy than
please.
Tommy would do.
So you have one final rep here with the get up. It's the cuddle, the roll, the two-handed press. Drive that hip. Look at the bell. Sit tall, bridge, sweep. Press the floor away. Get that kettlebell overhead. Square up and stand tall in the lunge. Then drop down, pulling ourselves down. Now look at that kettlebell as we hinge and rotate. Sit tall. Find the elbow. Push off the elbow and back down to the floor. Let's try that left leg. Whew. Oh yeah. We got that no-handed get up, cross-legged, on the left, on the right. I invite you to challenge yourself with a get up pattern. Very tough up here. As for the body, in addition, those single leg or no-handed get ups. We have time for one last set of exercises, and I think we should finish with a little bit of that swing. We'll do 5 and 5, and I go, you go. So choose your leader and follow along with one of us for 2 sets of 5 swings.
But then we have one more thing to finish up with.
Ooh. Okay, there's surprises all the time. So Lauren's doing 5 repetitions, and she can threaten to give that Polish punch, but can she take it? Yes, she can. Shoulders are together, arms are straight. It's the same cues I'm gonna think of right here.
So your turn or Ian's turn, we're resting, equal work rest here in that I go, you go pattern, which we like, and we've done basically since January 1st. We have those nice straight arms in front, and the bell is always swinging to that chest height.
And what is that one last thing that you will focus on for this set of swings? Is it the feet being heavy? Is it the glutes fully cramping? Is it the safe, firm grip on that kettlebell? Or the timing of the breathing pattern? There's lots to think about. Pick that one thing.
Last time here for Team Ian.
The feet.
Feet heavy in the floor. That includes your baby toe. That includes your big toe. And all the other 3 piggies in between. So keep them heavy as you finish these final swings, matching that breath, keeping the core brace. Whew. Now to finish, we're going to stay a little bit breathless here. Grab that bell and hold it in our 3 positions. The 3 positions are going to be to the rack, press the bell overhead, hold. Pull the bell to the rack, hold. Finish holding it in that suitcase. Repeat on the other side, no put downs. As in, don't put the bell down. Don't put yourself down either. Get ready in 5, 3, 2, zip it up, punch it, press it, hold it. About 15, 20 seconds here in that overhead position. I find personally this overhead position, once the bell is there, a fairly easy position because we are stacked wrist, elbow, shoulder, hips. We have that nice stickity stack tree line here. In 3, 2, adjust as needed, pull it to the rack position. Now here we're wearing it a little bit more on our core. We're trying to keep the ribs over top of the hips, avoiding the lean back. Squeeze the cheeks, brace the abs, breathe, keep the elbow in tight, but it's not resting on our hip here. Keep it in for 4, 3. I like to transition with 2 hands down the body, narrow the stance, move it beside. Here, slightly elevated, slightly retracted shoulder. Breathing, bracing, pushing down and out on the floor. Offside, quivering, working hard. If you were lazy, that bell would pull you over, but you're not. 3, 2, 2 hands in front. Place bell down. Without.
Nice.
That was a full minute of holding.
Like it. Practicing that time under tension with those exercise techniques to improve your strength and always maintaining the safety as we lift. So now we're doing the same thing on the other side. So that includes a hike position up into that rack. So cheek clean or the hike, rack, and a full press. Hold it there. You could slowly start to walk around your room, taking very casual steps. But for today, let's just focus on keeping the knuckles reaching to the ceiling, the elbow straight, the bicep in line with the ear. Are you looking at the clock, Lauren?
3,
Excellent.
2.
Then with control, we'll pull that to the rack and hang here. Again, where is the rib cage over the hips? Is the elbow in nice and tight? Are we asking those rhomboid or back muscles to squeeze back to support that load out front? We'll hold for a second or 2 longer.
3,
and then
2.
I like taking 2 hands to that little hang clean position, then extend the hips, and here we are. It's low, but often this is the harder position because it's very hard if we lift an unbalanced load. So I am being a slacker. I want to square up those ribs over the hips, squeeze my bum, brace the core, make sure
3.
you breathe over top of that, and in 1 second left, return it to the floor with that hinge, come up, and work out like that.
Thanks for joining us tonight on week 1 of semester 6 as we get back 7 weeks before.
Christmas.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the word.
Yeah.
Before the end of the year. So stick with us. We'll build our skills. We'll progress through our get-ups and our 2-handed swings, and who knows where the end of the year workout will take us. Stay tuned. Until next time, check out our website, check out our Patreon page, like and subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you Thursday at the bar.
That's right. A new semester continues on Thursday with bar skills and the kettlebell mic make an appearance. And then on Saturday, our most viewed class, the handstand bodyweight play class. We hope that you can join us then too. So until then, as always, take care.
Stay strong.
And let's train soon. Have a good afternoon.
Goodbye.
Bye.